So guys, I guess the rumors are in fact true. For the past probably week and a half or so, there's been some rumblings that we're going to have a guaranteed Ancient Shard event for Staltus Dragonbane, which is a very, very good champion. And it was just confirmed about 30 minutes ago that we will in fact be having the guaranteed event alongside a 10x event. So these are all the champions from the 10x event that'll be included alongside the guaranteed event. So if you're pulling your 150 Ancient Shards for Staltus Dragonbane, if you get a legendary, which hopefully you do, then you have a 10 times chance to get one of these Sylvan Watcher champions. There's some epics included, as well as the 2 or 3 legendaries that are affinity based, and then the 1 void legendary. So literally all of these Sylvan Watchers, it seems, except for Ornn and Nia. So it seems, let's see. So no Dudan either, okay? So any of the obtainable champions we've already had, Dudan, Ornn, and Nia are not included, but you do have Cormac, which seems like a mediocre champion. I haven't really tested him much. Daithi, who seems like a pretty hard-hitting champion. And then Ruella has some uses definitely in some dungeons. Her A1. Overall, very solid kit. But the main thing people are going to be looking for is probably Elva. Elva's an amazing champion. Gallcobar and Ruarc both have some really good uses as well. But the main one is going to be Elva. She's a very good champion. And she's going to be what people are hoping for in the 10x when you're going for the Draco Slayer himself, Staltus Dragonbane. This dude is actually really good. However, I don't think everybody's going to need him, okay? Some people just want to complete their collection, but it depends, okay? This dude hits really hard, okay? He's a very hard-hitting champion. Let me go see if I can find his multipliers real quick for you all. But they're great. And alongside great multipliers, he also places an increased defense buff on himself, so he doesn't even need champions to buff him, right? So, I mean, because he literally does himself. So no Siphi's needed, no any other champion who places increased defense, because Staltus Dragonbane, he got it all covered, okay? No worries whatsoever. And he also has a very, very cool passive. But let's check out his multipliers. So his A3 ability, multiplier of 4, and then his A2 ability, a multiplier of 2.1, which is a 2-hitter, attacks all enemies 2 times, which is amazing. Let's go ahead and compare that to a champion like Solus. Granted, if you compare it to a champion like Solus, it's going to be a little bit different. Solus is a void affinity champion, so there's some differences there, obviously. But Solus also gets his damage boosted from the A3 based on how many debuffs the enemy has. So Solus's A3 is a 4.9 godlike rating, and he has an A2 ability that is not an AoE. It's attacked 3 times at random. So Solus is hitting really hard. Base defense of 1421. Staltus has base defense of 1454. So Staltus has a little bit higher base defense. Staltus also brings some other debuffs in his kit and a very, very good passive ability. So Staltus's passive ability, or Dragonbane's passive ability, says whenever an enemy attempts to place weaken or a decreased defense or a poison on this champion, reflex them back to the attacker. There's no cooldown on this ability. So from what I understand, he's basically immune to decreased defense, which is the most impactful debuff on a defense-based nuke champion especially, right? So if he's immune to decreased defense, this is incredible. It's absolutely an amazing kit. I mean, he places increased defense on himself. He has a 75% chance of placing 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns on enemies whose attack is equal to or lower than their defense. So defense-based champions, attack-based champions, he's decreasing their crit damage. So your nukers, reducing their crit damage. Your tankier champions, reducing their speed from that A3 ability. Granted, you will need accuracy, and you're probably not going to be building accuracy for this champion because you're probably just going to be focusing on damage if you're actually going for him. Amazing champion. Bannerlord's Faction Wars, if you're struggling with it, it's going to be a very solid champion to go ahead and go for the 150 Ancient Shard guaranteed event. Definitely, I recommend always saving for those for sure. On his A2, attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit, 50% chance, books up to a 65% chance. Kind of a weird number there. Placing a stun, but hey, it's an AoE ability that attacks twice. Each hit has a 65% chance of placing stun, so you're going to have a very high chance of actually placing that stun from that A2. So great control, very hard-hitting A3 ability. His A2 hits very hard as well, and then his A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. If the target is under any debuff, which they probably will be, each hit decreases the target's turn meter by 10%. So honestly, this dude is an amazing overall champion. A very solid damage dealer, very good multipliers overall. As far as comparing him to Solus, if you have Solus, if you're just looking for a damage dealer, a nuker, I don't think Staltus is going to outwork your Solus by no means, because Solus hits like an absolute truck. He hits so incredibly hard, but as far as utility, extra things to the team, Staltus does bring quite a bit extra. So you guys can decide what you want to do. I plan to go for him We're going to have to hope for some really lucky clan boss drops because I'm currently sitting at 6 Ancient Shards, having pulled for the extra legendary a few days ago where I got Zavia as well as Killian the Lucky. Yeah, lucky me, right? But the next thing I want to talk about real quick is the Ultimate Death Knight tournament. So are you guys going for this? I just now logged in. I was hoping to push back my login in time to hopefully get matched up with an easier group, but we'll see. Has anybody done anything yet? We have someone at 7,400 points. So this event was very, very weird. I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw this event, I was thinking, why? Why in the world are we getting? Because I'm a big fan actually of these champion training tournaments. I think they're fun. I lost to the Sir Nick one 2 years ago, and then I won my Krisk tournament. I kind of enjoy them. I mean, I save up for it. I push for it. It's a good time. However, this one feels weird considering I literally just got this champion for free, like what, a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. So like, why do we want another copy of him? Well, Faction Guardians could be viable. Empowering, I'm not really going to empower this champion because I don't really use him anywhere enough to make a +1 make sense. But now we have the option to get a second one. I went and checked out my Faction Guardians, and I realized Plarium may got me. They may have got to me. I may have to go for Ultimate Death Knight because look at this. I have one spot waiting for an Ultimate Death Knight right there. And if I fill that out, my Sifi, my Bad Alcazar, my Crypt King Grawl, my Rhodos, my Necrit, Uros, doesn't really matter about the +10 speed, but all of these legendary champions are going to get +10 speed. That sounds like a pretty good investment to me, depending on how hard the group goes. I have saved up for a while. My tournament bracket so far doesn't seem to be holding it back, but they also don't seem to go crazy. So maybe I push some points, see how it turns out. Let me know what you guys are doing if you're going for it. For me, I think it's honestly kind of worth it. Not worth it to push 300,000 points, but probably worth it to push a decent amount. So maybe I log this journey, bring you guys along with me. But either way, best of luck to you all if you end up going for this guaranteed event. I think it's a very, very solid event. Hopefully you have the shards saved up. But either way, guys, hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.